Hi everyone, I'm Cass and this is the Mind Your Being podcast, a space where we'll explore health and what it really means to care for our whole being, our physical, mental and emotional health. Each episode you'll hear from leading health and wellness experts or everyday people who share powerful insights and lived experience. And sometimes it'll be just me, sharing thoughts, tools and reflections from my own journey. More than anything, I want you to feel supported, encouraged and empowered to make informed health choices that feel right for you. If this sounds good to you, please enjoy. Hi and welcome to Mind Your Being. This is our final episode for the year. I want to thank you all for tuning in. So for this episode, being the festive season, I really just wanted to offer an episode that is a small pause in the December busyness. Often the festive season has us feeling stretched, overwhelmed, or even a little lonely. And I want you to know you're not alone. I think everyone at some point in this festive season gets a little overwhelmed or a little bit stressed because it ends up being such a hectic time of year. Children are finishing up on school. Parents may or may not be on holidays yet. There's all the Christmas present buying. There's all the shopping for food, planning holidays, planning kids' activities, Christmas parties. It's a lot. So I just wanted to do a short episode to talk about why this time of year can feel stressful for many people, how to navigate it gently, and towards the end of the episode, I'll share some of the topics we'll cover on Mind Your Being in 2026. That always sounds a little strange to say the next year for the first time, but 2026 is just around the corner. So let's kick off with festive season stress. For many of us, this time of year comes with extra expectations and responsibilities. It's not just the shopping or the cooking, it can be the emotional drain as well. We hold the mental load of planning, organising and caring for others. So even if you're not hosting a Christmas event, the combination of work deadlines, family commitments and social events can leave your nervous system feeling overloaded. But it is typical for stress to feel heightened at this time of year. Add that together with hormonal changes, maybe sleep disruption, or just the sheer busyness and the fast pace of life these days. It can make everything feel more intense, particularly at this time of year. Something I notice amongst my friends and amongst colleagues, there's a lot of pressure around the idea of the perfect festive season. If you're a regular listener of the podcast, you'll know I talk about myself as a recovering perfectionist. And I think Christmas particularly is the time of year when perfectionist tendencies can tend to go into overdrive. If you're that way inclined, you might be striving to have the perfect meal, the perfect tree, to choose that perfect gift for someone, the perfect family gathering, that perfect sense of togetherness, just like it is in all the Christmas movies, right? But often the gap between our expectation and reality is where the frustration lives. If you're someone that's striving for that perfect tree or that perfect gift, and it's not creating a sense of stress or a sense of overwhelm for you, then happy days, like there's no problem with it. If there's no downside for you, then, it's not a problem. But for some people, if you have those perfectionist tendencies, striving for that perfect gift or that perfect meal, it can create an enormous feeling of stress, of overwhelm, overload on your nervous system. And there is a downside. There is a cost, right, to trying to create that perfect event or provide everything for everyone else. There is a cost to you. So I think it's about balance. And I'd encourage you to step back and look at your own values, look at your values of your own family and see if there's some ground for you to step back a little bit on the perfection and still find a beautiful tree, still prepare a beautiful meal and host a beautiful Christmas with your friends and family, but with less of the stress and overwhelm that comes with trying to have it all together, trying for it all to be perfect. Because the truth is, a good event or a good holiday experience, it isn't about perfection. It's about presence. And not the presence under the tree, being present, the mindful kind. The people you care about will remember how they felt when they shared an experience with you. Their memories are going to be of the laughter and the feelings of joy and comfort in sharing an experience with you. Their memories are not going to be defined by perfect decorations or perfect meals on a perfect table setting. So each to their own, but I'd encourage you, if you are struggling at this time of year and you're starting to feel overwhelmed by trying to have everything perfect, it's okay to simplify. It's okay to scale back a little bit and prioritize your own well-being in and amongst trying to be there for everyone else. I just wanted to share a quick story about a conversation I had this morning, actually. I was at the gym, and as is often the case with me, I'll finish a workout and then I'll run into someone and have a bit of a chat. And this morning, it was a beautiful lady who regularly goes to the gym. I would say, for context, she's probably mid to late 70s, and we were talking about Christmas coming up because she has family coming to stay with her. And on the way to the gym, I'd been thinking about how often we get stuck in carrying out traditions, especially at this time of year, traditions that we continue because that's the way we've always done it, right? Or that's the way it's been done in our family. So anyway, this beautiful lady, she mentioned that she was going to have some prawns for Christmas this year, and she mentioned for the first time she wasn't going to be cooking a hot meal or baked dinner for her family. And she said that that's a tradition she had always done, but decided this year she wanted to change it up a bit. And I said, how does that make you feel, like something that you've always done and this year you're choosing to do it differently? And she stopped for a minute and she goes, I feel like it gives me some freedom. And I went, there it is, that freedom to choose to do something different. And she mentioned that she hadn't really, she just carried on this tradition because that's the way she'd always done it. But this year, for whatever reason, she thought about it and she thought, I don't want to do that anymore. So I'd encourage you to consider if there's something that you do, some kind of tradition that you uphold, or family custom, or a particular event that you have at this time of year that's no longer serving you, I'd encourage you to stop and consider it. Is there something you could do differently that gives you a bit of freedom, a bit more time, a bit less stress and overwhelm? Anyway, food for thought. Another topic that's come up when I've been talking to friends and colleagues around this lately is holiday boundaries. Now, this is a really important one because sometimes this may be the only time of year that we get together and gather with certain people in our family. And most of the time, it's really easy to step back into those old family dynamics. And if you struggle to set boundaries, it's not always a pleasant time. So just because you're stepping into a family gathering or any emotionally charged situation, it doesn't mean you have to become a sponge for everyone else's behaviour or moods or stress. Family dynamics can be tricky. Old roles can reappear really quickly. And sometimes we go into these situations quietly hoping that this year will be different, that someone will behave differently, that a long-standing tension will magically disappear, that there'll be some kind of Christmas miracle. But when we go in with that hope, often we end up feeling frustrated or disappointed. So a helpful and protective shift is to practice acceptance. And this is not easy. Acceptance is not approval of someone else's behaviour, and it's not resignation. It's not like, oh, there's nothing I can do anyway. It's acceptance of this truth. We can't control other people. We can only control our own behaviour, our responses, and our boundaries. So boundaries aren't pushing people away. They're about protecting your nervous system and your emotional well-being. So setting boundaries can be helpful because they can help limit your exposure. They can set expectations clearly. They can signal to others what's okay and what's not okay. And they can give you permission to step away if something becomes too unpleasant or too overwhelming. So I just wanted to share a really useful strategy is to practice a few boundary phrases before you go to that family gathering, rather than trying to come up with something on the spot in the heat of the moment. So these are phrases that you can use when you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling like a moment's getting a bit heated. They're phrases you can use to sort of step out or step back from the situation. So things like, I'm going to step outside for a few minutes. I heard someone recently say they're always the person who offers to take the garbage outside because that gives them a little break from the gathering and it gives them a few moments to themselves. So that's a helpful way to get a few moments to yourself. So if a discussion's getting quite heated and you're not feeling great about it, you can use this one. I'm not comfortable discussing that. You don't have to justify to the person why you're not comfortable. You can just say, I'm not comfortable discussing that. And if they keep going, you just say, I'm not going to discuss that with you right now. Similar to the first one, you could say, I need a break. I'll be back shortly. So you can either go to another room in the house, you could step outside, you could even go for a drive around the block if you really need some space. Again, similar to the second one, you could say, that's not something I want to get into today. If a particular topic comes up that you're not comfortable discussing or you know that it's going to lead to some heated tension, you can just use that one. You could just try, that's not something I want to get into today. And this one, if you've tried some of the other ones and people still want to talk about that particular heated topic or they're still behaving poorly towards you, you could just say, I'm heading off now. Thank you for your hospitality. Goodbye. So look, I know with some people it's harder to set a boundary than it is with other people, but at the end of the day, you need to protect your own emotional well-being. So having these boundaries, it might mean leaving earlier than you planned from an event. It might mean just taking some quiet breaks here and there throughout the day. Or if you really know that there's a well-worn path when you get together with certain family members, you could decide ahead of time how much time you're going to spend in certain situations. So, I don't know, you might say, I'm only going to go for half a day and then we're out of there. It's really about what works for you. And also, if something feels too much, it's okay to withdraw. Stepping away is not failure, it's self-respect. Money stress at this time of year can add another layer of tension. We already have a rising cost of living in most nations. Then add on top of that, trying to find the perfect gift for everyone and the pressure to show your love through your spending, it can end up feeling overwhelming. But remember, you don't need to buy a perfect holiday. Things like thoughtful gestures or just being present with someone, quality time and that connection, these things matter far more than the price tag. Something else I wanted to touch on, and I shared a post about it recently on social media, is loneliness. It's a reality for many people during the festive season, whether you're spending it alone or if you're separated from family or you're simply feeling disconnected from people in your life. If you're already feeling lonely, then this time of year can really exacerbate that feeling. It can stir up old memories, old feelings, and it does impact your health. Loneliness is not good for our well-being. We as humans are wired for social connection, so it can be really hard for a lot of people. It's important to recognise that loneliness is a normal human experience at different points in time. It's not a personal failing. Even small connections like a call to a friend, a walk with a neighbour, or volunteering, these things can make a meaningful difference. If you're listening and you're feeling lonely, I'd encourage you to give yourself compassion. And if you're listening and you know someone amongst your community or your family or friends who is struggling at this time of year, who is particularly lonely, then I'd encourage you to take just a little bit of time to reach out to that person. It could be as simple as a phone call or visiting someone, maybe for a short amount of time. I think even a small gesture of kindness towards people, it helps them to feel less alone. I know I have an uncle who lives alone and I don't get to see him as much as I'd like to nowadays, but I'm going to make an effort this weekend to get up and visit him before Christmas, and I look forward to seeing him as well. So yeah, just encourage you to think about if you notice someone struggling, then maybe reach out to them, maybe take them out for a cuppa or something like that. So whether you celebrate Christmas, another tradition, or none at all, I want to offer you goodwill, kindness, and warmth this season. And I was thinking earlier today about all the different ways people celebrate or don't celebrate at this time of year. And I wanted to talk about our common humanity. So for all the differences we have in appearance, in cultures, customs, the locations where we live, we are all more similar than we are different. So despite our differences, we all share a fundamental human experience. We may live in different locations around the world. We may experience different traditions and customs, culture, but we're all human. We may look different on the outside, but we have more in common than we have different. So common humanity is this concept that recognizes that everyone, no matter what you look like or where you live in the world, everyone desires happiness, love, connection with others, and fulfillment. And all humans, no matter how rich or famous you are, suffer at various points in life. I just wanted to encourage everyone, particularly at this time of year, please be kind. Please try and be accepting of others and the different ways they choose to celebrate or not celebrate this festive season. And before I wrap up, I just wanted to acknowledge another hard thing for a lot of people at this time of year is grieving loved ones who are no longer with us. I think a lot of people have loved ones who are no longer with us, and these times of the year when we're celebrating one occasion can bring up memories and strong emotions, and waves of grief can come over us because we might be thinking, well, what could have been, or we're just missing people who are no longer with us. So again, I think all those feelings are perfectly normal, and if you notice someone is suffering or grieving or something, they're particularly missing people this year, then again, please offer support where you can. Just listening to someone's story, like asking them, hey, you don't look okay. Is there something you wanted to talk about? I mean, how beautiful is that? It just offers someone a chance to talk about a loved one that they may be missing, When I was driving home from the gym this morning, I was behind a car and I noticed it had a sticker of like angel wings and a person's name and 2 years, and the date between those years was 18, and then the sticker said forever 18. And I just started crying. I'm like, these poor people are going to be missing this person terribly at this time of year. And then it made me think about family ones that I'm missing at this time of year. And again, that common humanity, this is common for so many people. So yeah, I just be kind to yourself, offer compassion to others, and realize like people might be struggling and you may not even know. So choose your words so carefully. So earlier this year, I started creating this podcast, something I had wanted to do for about 8 years, but I let fear and perfectionism stop me from starting. And then I finally decided I didn't want to go through life having regrets about not trying something that I really wanted to do. And here we are. And I just want to thank you all so much for listening to these episodes, for tuning in and supporting me, supporting the podcast. I'm so grateful. Thank you. And I also want to thank all of the wonderful guests that we've had on this year. We've had conversations on menopause, mental health, bone health, maintaining muscle as we age, skincare, and we've had conversations about how to prevent falls as we age. So important, all of these topics. And my latest episode was with Dr. David Cooper, who I'm really grateful to. We shared a conversation on OCD, which is something that I've opened up recently that I have struggled with for most of my life. And this episode was probably the one I've been most nervous about releasing. And I've got to thank you because the support has been wonderful. So thank you so much. I want to have more conversations going forward about OCD, mental health, physical health. We'll be back early in 2026, and I've got some beautiful topics lined up to release early next year, including one about the best types of exercise to strengthen our bones as we age, even for older women with osteoporosis. We've got an expert's guide to skin needling and how we can best look after our skin as we age. And I've got a beautiful conversation on understanding depression and PTSD and some emerging treatments that are showing really good results for some people who have treatment-resistant depression and treatment-resistant PTSD. That was a wonderful conversation. They're all wonderful. The best part about creating this podcast is connecting with like-minded people who want to share their knowledge to help others. And for you all listening as well, that is hands down the best part about creating this podcast. I love it. So they're just a few of the topics that we've got coming early in 2026, and there's so much more I want to cover and so many more guests we'll be having on. I can't wait to share them with you. So from me to you, I wish you a peaceful, fun, grounded and loving festive season. Take care of yourself, take care of others around you, and I'll be chatting with you again soon. So until next time, mind your being. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Mind Your Being podcast. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please follow the show wherever you get your podcasts and share it with a friend who might enjoy it too. If you have a moment, please leave a quick review. It really helps others discover the podcast. Thanks again for being here. Take care, and until next time, mind your being.